काफी
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining this fourth Assessors Conclave. The purpose of such conclave is to calibrate all our assessors who have been used, and also sharing our experiences with them, and also to get to know what you as assessor want to share with us. And there may be a couple of assessors present who have never been given an opportunity so far. That's because we didn't get any application in those areas. But the things have been changed for last few weeks, and we are getting applications, new applications in all categories like hospitals, which were never there earlier. So we started getting applications slowly in hospital category and other programs because of CGHS empanelment. So I think everyone will get a chance to be part of assessment process in time to come. So I welcome you on behalf of myself, my colleague at QAI Secretariat and the board. I welcome you all for this fourth Assessors Conclave. And we have a defined agenda, and I think this has been shared with you all. And we will be walking through you different agenda items, and we'll be sharing what we at Secretariat as well as our accreditation committee members feel when they review different reports coming out from you.
Dr. Rana, there are a couple of messages that you're not audible. You're audible here, but there are messages from some people that you're not audible. So can everyone hear Dr. Rana? Because a couple of auditors have
Can you
posted
hear me, guys?
Sir, there is some disturbance in the voice.
So if there is a disturbance, by you shut down your video.
Yes, sir. You are
just be on the audio. And I'll try to also switch off at the moment while I present. I'll switch off my video to save the Mbps. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Thank you so much. So
It's better.
Yes, thank you. And please, I request not to send messages now because they pop up on my window and then disturb. So unless it's required, you are really facing some difficulties. And no, good morning, good afternoon, please, because they are popping up on my screen and I will be getting disturbed. Thank you so much for your cooperation. So Chandni, please go on. Thank you. Next slide. So briefly to bring you all on the same page about QAI and what they are doing. A brief introduction. We started off as an accreditation body in August 2017, and we have developed so far 21 accreditation standards in 8 years, which makes us the fastest developing accreditation body globally. Next. This is our structure. We have 4 verticals. I'm again requesting, please don't send good afternoon, good morning, good night messages, please. Because they are popping up on the screen. I don't have time to disable that. So request you to please not to text unless it is an emergency. Or in that case, you can even can speak rather than sending the message. Thank you. So this is our structure, 4 verticals, one for education training, one for healthcare accreditation, health and social care accreditation, Center for International Accreditation, which is for laboratory accreditation of different types of laboratories, and for veterinary hospitals and clinics. This agenda of conclave falls into the second vertical, which is QAI-CAHSC, Health and Social Care Accreditation Program. Next. So what we offer, as I mentioned, 21 standard we developed, but we are offering 25 programs in total. Because one standard we put it here as a hospital has 3 programs within that. So we have pioneering program of IVF, Art Accreditation Program, which started first, and then advanced stroke centers, hospitals, telehealth, care homes, home health care, hair transplant clinic, ambulatory care, which has multiple standards, dental, eye imaging, and daycare surgical procedures. May I request everyone to please mute yourself? Thank you. And WHO patient safety friendly hospital, standards, dialysis, hematopoietic cell transplantation or bone marrow transplant standards, green healthcare, medical transport organization called ambulance services, hotels and homestays, emergency department of a hospital, transition care centers or inpatient rehab centers or de-addiction centers or senior care. There are 6 programs under transition care, then vision centers, and then there's a certification program called QAI-PEAL, which is performance excellence and learning. And this program is developed for those clients who are running their own quality improvement programs in their own healthcare facilities, and they want that program to be accredited. So this is one program which we have developed, and HCL Healthcare is the first client for QAI-PEAL. And we are going to soon launch a couple of programs. One is for medical value transfer, MBTF, which is related to medical tourism, headache clinics, and IU's hospitals. Next, please. We are nationally and internationally recognized through International Society for Quality in Healthcare External Evaluation Association, long name, QAI-CAHSC-EA. We are, as an organization, as an accreditation body, we are accredited by QAI-CAHSC-EA. We also have our hospital standards and home healthcare standards accredited by QAI-CAHSC, making us one of the pioneer accreditation body in India and globally. QAI accreditation is recognized by CGHS for empanelment of hospitals, eye centers, dental centers, and imaging centers as equivalent to NABH. So hospital have choice to go to NABH or to QAI with same financial benefit. Next. And this is something which actually now started driving organizations to come to us. It was there since 2022, but because QAI was not mentioned in CGHS document specifically, people were reluctant to come forward. But now in December 2025, new document of CGHS QAI has been specifically mentioned. So now people have confidence and they are coming forward for QAI accreditation. Our journey so far has been quite interesting, quite productive. And my colleague have prepared this video for you all to enjoy what we have done in last 8 years. As I mentioned, we started off in August 2017 with first program rolled out in 2018, home healthcare and IVF accreditation programs. Over to you, Charlie. Please start the video. Thank you. There is no sound in there. Yeah, thank you. So actually, this video has captured certain milestones in terms of when we start a new accreditation program, and then the first accreditation granted to any healthcare facility for any standard, and also includes some of the milestone related to our MOU with several national and international organizations, as well as our own recognition from ISQA EEA. We have just been evaluated by ISQA for a renewal of our accreditation because it happened every 4 years. So we were accredited by ISQA in 2022. In June 22 now, we have been evaluated in March, and we are expecting our results very soon for next 4 years. So you may not have get a chance to look at what is written, but it just shows that these many things we have already finished in last 8 years. And this is something new. Many of you might have viewed our new website because it was 7-year-old and there were a couple of things were not there. So we have designed and developed a new website which is up and running. Nonetheless, if someone has any feedback on that website to improve it further, we would be very happy to have. And in addition to new standards, we also publish additional requirements in addition to standards, which are specific to certain aspects. For example, infection prevention and control, in terms of requirement for fire safety, in terms of requirement for air conditioning, ventilation, heating, and so on and so forth in certain areas like operation theater and so on and so forth. So we have published these additional requirements. So these are also mandatory to be followed by the organizations undergoing accreditation, as well as all our assessors also should check compliance to these additional requirements while they go for conducting assessments. Next, please. So these are all up on our website available. People can download it, and they have already been sent to all assessors earlier. First edition, now this is a second edition, which we have revised all of them with some changes happened. And so we will again be either sending a link of the website so you can download from there. Couple of things again changes because we also believe in continual improvement on an ongoing basis. So as and when we get an opportunity for improvement, we really make use of that. So we had some feedback externally and internally regarding our expense claim form, which you follow. So we have modified it, and a new form has already been released. Similarly, for conducting opening meetings and closing meetings, while you go to conduct assessment, has also been revised, and new format would be available to you. So this is a F5 report related to recommended scope of services for you to use, because many times what happens, they give the scope on a letterhead and you don't check it properly sometimes, and you don't know what actually added up. So we have developed this form where you can specify, or you can give it to organization to specify what services they are offering, and then you can give me a recommendation whether that is recommended or not. Now coming to the points of discussion, and so that up to now it was about QAI and activities and what we have done. Some changes have been made, but now these are the discussion points for all of you. And we have brought out these points from last 1 year, coming out from several assessments conducted across the country and even outside under different programs. So these are not for a specific program like hospital or stroke, but it comprises of every program which we are running and assessments are happening. So discussion on assessment report and assessment activity is very important. As you know, assessment reports are the most important part of any accreditation process. And so it's important for us to be on very alignment process, so that there is no deviation, and what you write as a report, committee should be able to make a decision with no no confusion among them. So first thing is about conducting assessment. When you are assigned, you are provided with all the information which are required to be available with you. For example, application form, a self-assessment toolkit, the reference document, and any regulatory requirements. So these regulatory requirements and something are part of application form itself, because there is a provision of asking that information and also providing a certificate for that. So it has been observed that some assessors proceed to assessment without adequate preparations. Application and regulatory documents are not being thoroughly reviewed by the assessment team. So what happened consequent to this is that at times you raise some non-conformity which actually are not, because they all have it. So you raise that this document is not there, this regulation is not there, but actually they have. But it's because you have not prepared yourself, you have not reviewed what we have provided to you, you raise those non-conformity. Similarly, there may be occasion of some variations in information coming from the organization, and also given by us in the application package. So if you're prepared well, you know what is given, and if there are any variation, you would know them when they provide to you. Self-assessment, is very, very important tool, very specifically designed and developed on Excel sheet, which contains all the requirement of that specific accreditation standard, and then followed up by several columns to be filled by the organization themselves as a self-assessment, which means how they feel about a specific criterion in terms of their compliance as to that. And they write their own compliance, they score actually on a scale of 0, 5, 10, and then also give the references of the document which are relevant to them. So what we have observed that many of our assessors do not review self-assessment toolkit and do not fill also during assessment. So if you look at this, first column is standards and criteria, and then a documentation declaration by the organization, then implementation of that documentation by the organization, and also the evidence of that policy, procedure, or process in the third column. And the fourth column is for them to be filled up by themselves on a scale of 0, 5, 10. Now what you have to do is last two columns are meant for you. One is for the assessment, and maybe for surveillance assessment in 3-year cycle. So you also need to use it. You also need to score each organization you go and assess without fail, because self-assessment toolkit scoring is very, very important for decision making. If someone do not qualify and pass as per the scoring requirements, we will not proceed further. But if in case the hospital or organization passes the minimum scoring criteria, even after there are some gaps, they are given time and opportunity to fill those gaps and come back, and we take the decision about accreditation. So scoring is very, very important. So you are requested to please review, because it will help you in understanding the documentation and implementation aspects of that organization, as well as it will give you an opportunity to score them, to say how they are actually achieving and make some statements. Next. Now, this is another very important agenda for assessment, which we call assessment schedule AF1 form. If we have some samples provided, Chandni. Yeah, see, this is one of the sample coming out of one of the assessment report we have picked up. It's a 2-day assessment. And if you look at this, only day one is filled up, day 2 is empty. And then even in day 1, if you say morning and afternoon, ER, OPD, ward, ICU, CT, MRI, facility round. So we understand, why not you prepare it in order? Let's say opening meeting, and then facility round, and then go to ER, OPD, ward, CTRI. So let it be complete in an order. Training records, HR files, CQI meetings, review of documents. So now it does not reflect say review of documents. When you review of documents, what you are reviewing in the training records, HR files is a record or document, CQI meetings. So make sure that what you're writing, document and records, review of documents, which are documents, a review of records, which are actually record, and then what other activities you are doing. So please write down, this is sufficient space, expendable space given in using. See, this is one of the ideal sample we can show you here is like morning is a day one agenda, morning 9 a.m. to 1:30. So opening meeting, facility round and departmental visit. Um, but be mindful that you should not spend hours and hours for that. If you realize that the facility is too big, it may take hours, then forget about it. Just have an idea about key areas, key sections where they are existing and locating. But if it is in a manageable thing, which is should not be going beyond, it should be somewhere 30 minutes to 45 minutes, and if you are able to complete. And then ground floor, what exists, radiology, ER, first floor, EEG, EMG, second, third. So they made a floor wise, and you could make it floor because they have 5 floors as per their application and details. So not necessarily you have to be preparing like this floor wise. You may not go for floor wise. It's up to your choice, but at least write comprehensively that these are the areas which you have really gone in and then evaluated. So this is about 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and then maybe obviously 1:30 2 p.m. is the lunch. You should mention lunch as well and a tea break. Why not to mention tea break? Morning tea break 11:15 to 11:30, afternoon tea break 3:50 to 3:30 or whatever time. So you also need to be resting for some time, and lunchtime can also be used for team meetings. Of your own team members can chat over lunch, and then report writing, closing meeting, and so on. So please prepare the agenda and holistically and comprehensively, covering major and key areas. You may not necessarily write everything, but key areas and on our organization to reflect on. Next. This is about writing non-conformities. Again, very, very important. So as you know, we have a scoring of 0, 5, 10. 10 is okay, complete compliance. 5 is partial compliance, and 0 is non-compliance when sample do not meet the requirement. And how you do it is also given in the beginning of each standard and even the self-assessment toolkit. So ANSYs are not documented properly. Descriptions are often unclear, lack proper language, and do not specify the relevant standard, criterion, or clause against which the ANSY is raised. So the statement is not very clear. It's ambiguous. It's not conveying the message what you want to convey, right? And does not reflect, does not mention or link with which standard you're talking about, GL3, A criterion, B criterion, or what? And in absence of that, it is challengeable. And she can also be raised against any additional requirement. So this is information for you all, as I mentioned in the previous slides, that additional requirements have been developed and they should also be used by the assessment team members while conducting the assessment, and they are available and they have been informed to the organization as well for the compliance. So you can raise non-compliance if they exist in relation to standard plus any additional requirements which we have published, and they must be linked to a specific criterion. MS FRM3D. It must be linked, otherwise it will not be considered as a non-compliance. Some of the samples given in here, if you look at, see this format, AF3 report format. Now, date is missing. I don't know who prepares writing date. And we have given so much of thing here, type of assessment, reassessment, surveillance. Nobody knows which type of assessment it is. Nothing is ticked or nothing is striked off. Okay. Then non-compliance raised. Patient interview revealed patient doesn't have clear understanding of the CPU procedure. She is doing the procedure because her friend had a success at ABC hospital patient unaware of realistic success rate said more than 90. But you read the 4 lines, you don't go anywhere. You don't reach anywhere, you know. And PRE7C and PRE4F does not relate to the statement given here. Okay. Last one, few observation and suggestion. What is your few observation and suggestion? What do you mean by few observation and suggestion? To remove the photography or recording for research purpose in the anesthesia content form. Means you write what you expect them to do. Okay, we don't, can you, it would be, it's their choice if there are certain thing extra. You can suggest them as a best practice that don't include photograph in such things, that makes sense. Otherwise, it's just make no sense. Looking at the right side. Now it's a closer. Now you raise non-compliance. Organization work noted, submitted the corrective actions and review it. When you review it, you say evidence attached and close and then say accepted. Okay, accepted. Many times what we find, you are accepted without actually proper evidence provided by the organization, or provided something else which is not relevant to the non-compliance you have raised, but you have accepted it and closed it. Wrong standards, PRE4F. So this is PRE4F is not to be mentioned in this area because it's not correctly linked. PRE7C is about care plan, incorporate patient family concern. It's not about, there is no concern raised by anyone. It's your thoughts while interviewing a patient and patient said so. It does not anyway convey that care plan was not properly planned or family was not informed about it or they have any concern. 4G may be better. Patient is informed of results of test. Somebody might say, oh, I was not informed about the outcome of success. Then it's fine, might be, but that is not reflected. So I think very, very important, write short sentences, short statements, which are very clear. You read and you understand what is expected out of it and relate well to a specific requirement of a standard or guidelines. How an incomplete report looks like. See this beautiful report. Acknowledgement by authorized signatory, no signatures, signature of lead assessor and date, nothing mentioned. Next. How to write a correct AF3 report. So now there is a non-compliance, serial number, criteria, which is like GL1 is the standard 1 and criteria A, criteria B, C, and while the hospital has determined vision, mission, and value, the mechanism for evaluation is not evidence. It's very clear. They have vision, mission, value, but they don't know how to evaluate them. And how to evaluate them. The document where the expectations of the management and leaders to create and maintain a culture of safety and quality is not evident. While the hospital has budgeted defined, there is no evidence to show that strategic and operational plans are documented. There are no documented, measurable, and monitored service standards. The ethical management framework not evident. Straightforward. What is missing? What do you expect out of the hospitals or any other healthcare facility to comply? So clear statement linked with a standard or a criterion. Next. So how to write a report? We have a format. I think it's AF6, I guess, assessment summary. So you write like, give a brief background of what the organization, 100-bedded hospital, tick, 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 tick. The manpower is adequate, it's provided, documents are okay, legal compliances which are required as per the standards are met with, interviews with staff and patients conveys that the hospital is really working in a very ethical manner. All sort of things you can write. It should have strength of the organization and some opportunities for improvement. Just few lines if there are any gaps in terms of opportunities for improvement. for them to work on, because you have already raised non-compliances whenever they work. Then comes the closure of NC. This is the most challenging task before my people here at Secretariat and also our accreditation committee members. Many times, not often, many times we do not connect. We do not connect well that what was the basis on which assessment team has closed these non-compliances. We don't even reach very near to that. It has been observed that assessors tend to close non-compliances without verifying the complete set of evidences requested. During an assessment, if NCs are raised, each one must be reviewed and verified by the concerned assessor. An NC must only be closed once the assessor confirms all corrective actions have been fully and effectively addressed. In several cases, only partial or incomplete evidences are provided, leading to inadequate closure of the non-compliance. The closure of non-compliances must strictly be based on the verification of complete evidence corresponding to the raised non-compliance. QAI additional requirements documents are not being used by the assessors for appropriate. So many times we see that these additional requirements are not being referenced or not being used during assessments. It has been observed that assessors often do not review NCs within the defined time frame. So you are given a time of 10 days on review. But many times we see it goes beyond that and we have to chase you all. We recognize that you all are busy, and that's nice to be busy. But if you have accepted any assessment, so please support with your full support for completing the assessment cycle. Do not review NCs within the time frame. NCs are expected to be reviewed and replied to within 10 days. Additionally, some assessors raise new NCs within the action plan format, which is not appropriate. Now, it's another unique thing. You raise some non-compliances, organization worked on it, you have accepted or rejected whatever it is. Now you raise a new non-compliances. How? What is the basis of raising new non-compliance at that stage? They will summarily be rejected by the organization. And obviously, we are not going to accept that. Next. So this is the way, this is our action plan format, where the organization fills. First is serial number, then the appropriate criteria number, and then what was found, what they did, and expected date of closure, or addressing those things. And the second last column is okay by the assessment team members, assessors. You say okay. Now, if you look at the last column, which can be a follow-up by the assessment team and or by the accreditation committee. Not accepted. No evidence of radiation safety device in X-ray room is submitted. What is the question? Patient safety devices are patient safety devices like rubber mats in electrical room, and radiation safety devices in X-ray was missing. Now, safety devices will be provided as a rubber mat and TLD badges. Okay, not accepted. Now, no evidence of radiation safety device in X-ray room is submitted. Now, they are saying TLD badge, and you're saying it's not submitted. Now, next one, wrong criteria is mentioned in NC. It is FRM3B, not FRM3A. So even A and B makes a difference, It changed the entire scenario. Not accepted, the training record is not as per QAI guidelines. So these are the comments many times given by our accreditation committee members that they have just accepted. The query was fire and non-fire safety training. And they say will be conducted and training records maintained. But the sufficient documents were not provided. For such purpose, we have the additional requirements. Right? There is a requirement for fire safety as well. So please read them. And they are very crisp. Just few pages, 1, 2, or 3 pages, not more than that. And say in all the floor equipment is not periodically inspected and calibrated. Calibrated is not appropriate. English is also not correct. Calibration is not appropriate. Calibration hona chahiye, calibrated nahi hona chahiye. Applicable to ensure proper functioning. Preventive maintenance and calibration schedules will be implemented and documented. First should be documented, then should be implemented. But whatever it is, you said, okay, Okay. But accreditation committee says not accepted. Evidence of calibration of all equipment is required along with evidence of periodical inspection. This information is not available, then I don't know what basis the assessor has closed. Okay. Next, yeah. Now see, look at this. The interview staff member, ABC, was not a man who is creating nice drawing on the screen, was not aware of the services available in the hospital. Training on scope of services given again to all staff, implemented, accepted. PSC 6 is about qualified individual providing care based on their credential. Now, PSC 6G, which is used for linking this non-compliance, is related to credentialing and privileging of the staff. Okay, it's not about their knowledge and awareness about availability of services. Totally wrong criterion is choose. Open vial policy was not evident as none of the hand rub bottles placed at various locations displayed an opening date. We have made open vial policy and introduced to all nursing and OT staff. We are also mentioning an opening date on every sanitizer bottle. Implemented, accepted. Now, MMS 3G is about labeling of medications and reagents and their expiry dates being monitored, mentioned, not about these sanitizers, which are actually a sort of a infection prevention aspect of things. So this is something which you should be very careful. A hand rub bottle, uh, which is not a medication. This is for cleaning hands and all, and you apply that criterion to this. You know, ground floor hospital premises were found to be unhygienic. Okay, we have cleaned the ground floor area now. Also, we have done some free tree plantation on ground floor, implemented. Assessor I accepted. Committee did not. The finding was of the ground floor of the hospital premise being unhygienic. Auditors should be more specific what it means. What do you mean by unhygienic? Closure provided shows someone sweeping the floor outside the hospital premise. Now look at it. A photo of sweeping the floor outside the hospital premises, and based on that, assessor has closed, considering this was cleaning or sweeping on the first floor, not the ground floor. It was not the ground floor of the hospital, but it was the floor outside the ground. Next. So these points really create a lot of confusion, and it takes a lot of time for accreditation committee, even our secretariat people, and accreditation committee to understand and debate, then go back to organization, go back to you, asking further information and evidences. Another point which we would like to highlight is here declaration of confidentiality. As a policy, when you are empaneled, we take your confidentiality statement. But then, as a policy, again, I say, with each assessment, you are required to sign a confidentiality and integrity statement. Many of you don't do it. We don't get it. Okay, so this should be signed, dated by the assessor before the start of assessment, because that's you take the responsibility that you do not have any relationship with this organization and you will abide by the confidentiality requirements. It should not be filled up after the assessment is done. After assessment is done, then what is the purpose of declaration? It should be declared before, and it should be declared by everyone with each assessment. And lead assessors should ensure that all the documentation required while you are submitting report to secretariat is in order. Whatever forms and formats related to assessment and related activities should be appended with the report. Another point, expense claim form. Yes, unless you do not want to be remunerated, that's fine. But if you want to be remunerated, there is an expense claim form, and many times people do not submit the expense claim form in the prescribed Excel format. So we have Excel sheet for calculation and all these, the taxation and what are deduction to be done. But we found many people use their own format. They design their own format. Some people make the Excel sheet and convert that into a Word PDF file, which makes us very difficult because it's an image. Sometimes it's an image, sometimes it's a PDF. We cannot modify, we cannot really check it. We have to create another one. So please use the checklist, this claim form, which is sent by my team. Some assessors are still using the old so please, this is document control. Please delete all the obsolete documents from your system and update yourself with the current documents. Okay, go to the website, look at what documents have been pushed in, and then update your document. Please don't use any obsolete document. So please first use the right claim form. Second, completely fill it. Provide all your details. Don't think that you are filling it 10th time and you don't need to provide all your details. Sorry, you have to provide all details. What will happen? Some people do not fill complete, just name. We know he is man. That the system has all the data. We pay and it says it is returned because the account was closed and new account was created, but it was never updated. Or some people create a new account. They're given earlier account, now it's a second account, but they don't update. And then they go, oh, can you transfer into this account? This is difficult for us, So please use the right form. Fill it completely. If you do not fill completely, we cannot guarantee the processing. I'm saying very clearly. If it is not completely filled with your full name as per your bank records, the bank name, IFSC code, your PAN card. Sometimes people don't give PAN card, or give, sometimes we find PAN number is wrongly given. So please fill all those details time again and again. Every time you fill the claim form, fill everything. You wish to keep a soft copy, it's a soft copy. You can keep it and use it in future. Just change the date, the name of assessment, happen and all these things. But rest bank details might be same. But it's up to you. Okay. But we need completely filled claim form. We expect that within 7 days, within 1 week of completing the assessment, you submit this to us so that we can process it for the reimbursement and as well as paying your fees. This is expense claim form, very clearly marked QAI-CAHSC-CHSC-CAVF, 4 verticals. You select which vertical you come from and then fill the details, the name, address, mobile number, email, and then bank details. Bank name, bank address, bank account number, IFSC code, and PAN number. So these are the things which we clearly ask them. And if you want to raise invoices in terms of invoice number, you can put the invoice number as well. And then honorarium claim. So put the the date of assessment and then your role and number of days, and we will fill it up and submit to. In addition to honorarium, if there are any expenses, incidental expenses, you may fill in the second table. Sometimes people do not claim local travel expenses from the organization. You should be. See, all the responsibility of travel and boarding and lodging is with the organization unless it is specified specifically. So please raise your, please ask I think leaders can ask the organization politely how they would like to reimburse your claims for local travel, airport to home to airport and back. Usually in the site of the hospital, in the city of they make the arrangement, but if they have not, you can bill that as well. Next. Non-responsiveness. Yes, it is observed that some assessors do not respond to phone calls, messages, or emails. All the 3 channels which we try to contact, even after several reminders, even after several calls and messages about their appointment, they do not come back. So please note that as an obligation, you are required to do at least 2 assessments in a year when you are approached. So when you are approached, and if you keep denying it, you may end up in getting your name removed from the sheet of assessors because you are not agreeing to. You are requested to please respond to the earliest possible. When we are not saying you have to immediately respond on call or phone or email, but at the first opportunity, please respond to that, because we may be looking for some assessor, maybe sometimes in emergency as well. because of some unforeseen circumstances, somebody has refused to go and could not go, or even in normal conditions. Please respond. It's not obligatory that you have to respond every time immediately, but at the earliest possible you respond, so that we know you have got our communication, you are working on it, and then as and when you require to say yes or no, you can say no. So you are requested to please respond at the earliest possible. Further, please update your contact details if there is a change. Now, this is another headache for us, to be very honest. People keep changing organization and nothing wrong in that. Everyone aspire for any professional development. So you may change your designation, you may change your organization, but please update with us. You were working in a hospital in Hyderabad, now you're in Bangalore or Chennai. No one updated us. And we are thinking you are still in Hyderabad and contacting you because you are in Hyderabad in our record. But turn up that you are in Chennai. We cannot use you from Chennai because that is required. So please update your changes, whether the contact detail or the organization you are working for, immediately after it happens with us. Again, failing which updating the record may lead to termination of your name from the list. Because it happened a couple of times, we contacted and the phone number is not existing. We contacted the hospital number, then say this person does not work with us. It really wastes a lot of time. Yes, very important. Assessors engage for multiple accreditation standards. Now, what we have done, we have trained people on hospital accreditation standards, which is one of the bigger standard. Now we have small hospital standards. We also have ambulatory care standards. So what we do, we have trained people in a hospital standard, and we assume them they know bigger picture. They may be knowing the standard coming from the lower side, like a small hospital which has slightly less number of criteria. Then ambulatory care, which again has a slightly less number of chapter standards and criteria. So we assume that you know ambulatory care standard, you know the small hospital standard because you have undergone a bigger standard called hospital standard. And when we approach to ask you whether you can do it, you proudly say yes. And that gives us confidence that you can. But what has been observed, we sent you for a small hospital assessment, but you use the hospital standard. Pathetic. We sent you for ambulatory care standard assessment for a dental center, and you use a small hospital standard. No, no, no. Please make sure that you conduct the assessment as per the standard requested by the organization, not the one you want yourself. Okay, please. So we are not working towards improving this. Maybe in time to come, we will not have the situation because we'll create verticals. We create separate pool of assessor for separate program. We will not mix and match. So those situations may not arise. But currently, it is always obvious. If you are asked to go for an hospital standard, use the hospital standard. If you're asked to go for ambulatory care, use. And what happens? Ironically, the organizations also do not reflect when you raise non-compliances which are not applicable. The non-compliances for those standards and criterion which is not existing in that standard for which they have applied for, but they don't say anything. They just accept whatever you say. Okay? But this is when our people at Secretariat review and say, oh, why this NC? Why this NC? Why this NC? When it is not there at all in the standard. So please make sure that you use the standard which is requested by organization for accreditation, not just one which is hospital. As I mentioned, we are trying to create a pool which is going to be separate for each program. Now, again, time management. We also got reports from organization and in some assessors also that assessment team keep conducting assessment late in night, late in evening, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why? Please adhere to your agenda. Yes, you can have some modification in agenda based on requirements. Suppose for some reason you plan to close the assessment next day by lunchtime. Instead of 5 o'clock, you are closing 2 o'clock, so you have 3 hours scheduled to catch up. Then maybe instead of closing 5, you can close at 8 in the evening previous day. But that should be based on the request you make to the organization and they agree for it. Do not just keep continuing the audit for hours and hours as per schedule defined, because that does not gives you edge that you know many things and you are doing very diligently. No, it also shows that you are not competent. You are not able to manage time with the assessment. So please manage your time well, and that is the whole reason of preparing the detailed agenda so that you know what activities you are going to conduct and how much time you are going to debate on them. If I am their assessor, then I say, okay, I'm going to do, say, walk around 30 minutes, then OPD ward 30 minutes, ER 20 minutes, operation theater 15 minutes, CSSD 15 minutes, kitchen 15 minutes. So I allocate time to that and then calculate the whole time and say, okay, I'm good to go in 7 hours in a day. So please, then again, one of the most critical aspect is code of conduct. Every assessor, every staff of QAI, including the CEO, every board member, including the chairman, every committee member, including the chairs of the committees, are bound by code of conduct. No one is spared. Everyone has signed a code of conduct, and this is there in your empowerment criteria as well. Okay, very, very important. As instances, we have seen that assessors have not maintained professional behavior, such as raising their voice during a staff interview. No, we have no right to raise our voice. If they don't know, they don't know. You keep quiet, you make your observation that people don't know. Okay, displaying an inappropriate conduct in closing meetings. See, there may be n number of findings. So what? Let it be. You're not going to suffer, they are going to suffer. So why you use unprofessional behavior? Why you use unprofessional language that you do not have anything, you do not have this, that? It's a taunting comments. They should not be, because they are organization. There are people who are respectable, in the community. It's like yours, your own people. So please, please, please be professional. Show your professional behavior at all times when you are on QI assessment. All times. Please note, all times. It's not just opening meeting or closing meeting. At all times. We have no right to, what I should call behaving with someone in inappropriate manner. We have no right to do so. And such behavior is not acceptable at all and can go against the assessor code of conduct. Because such information come to us very quickly during assessment itself. They don't wait because someone feels like that and they report immediately. Even some assessment team members behave, then a lead assessor has reported. Some case lead assessor had behaved like that, then assessor has reported. And that is the purpose of 360 degrees for evaluation, to improve everyone. It's not somebody has made mistakes, fine, it's done, but it should not get repeated again and again and again. Now, verifying scope of accreditation as part of the assessment is again very important. It's part of AF5. In case there are any changes requested by the organization, so you have to check with the secretariat, and you also have to check with the facility whether they have the facility available for providing those services. Many times, some assessment team members carried away with the name of the organization. Sometimes they carried away with the name of the people. Oh, he's a big authority in cardiology. So what? Let it be respectful. But there are non-compliances, there is non-compliances. It's a big hospital, international chain of hospital. Fine enough, good. And you are not abusing them. You are not supposed to abuse anyone. But does not mean that you are also scared of, writing your report properly, scope properly. Sometimes say, no, sir, we have all these things. No, we'll put it dialysis machine. This is not a problem. Okay, you are a big person, you can do it. No, it does not go by assumption. Please, please, please sign off the scope of accreditation only for those services, for those clinical services which are available. Those non-clinical services like pharmacy, housekeeping, security, blood bank, for example, which are outsourced. Outsourced services are not supposed to be mentioned in the scope of accreditation. They should be mentioned separately. That these services are outsourced to an outsourced agency and outside the organization. There may be outsourced within the organization. Those are okay. Those are okay. Those are to be included. Somebody has set up a radiology unit in a hospital under a MOU. So this is subcontracted to somebody else, but as a part of the hospital, they are responsible for complying to the requirement of the standards. They also need to undergo evaluation. So those type of subcontracting, some type of contracts are acceptable to be included in the scope. So please be careful. Run through the scope what they have given you and sign off so that we reflect the right scope of accreditation for services. Next. Complete assessment report again. Please fill all the required columns or rows or spaces given. We tried our best to give you all those: name of the hospital, name of the organization, name of the assessment team, date. You have to just fill what is asked. It's like a questionnaire. Their questions are already there. Please answer those questions without fail. It has been observed that assessors sometimes omit essential information. Now, because it's a word file, editable word file, some people have removed something. How we would know? But they are very essential. Okay. This includes providing incomplete assessment reports, AF1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and instances of non-submission of letter of indemnity. So in addition to this form, there are some letter of indemnity for indemnifying both parties of any things happen, declaration of impartiality and confidentiality, and then liability undertaking, self-assessment toolkit, and expense claim form. So please attach all these documents after you fill in. In fact, we discussed here in Secretariat yesterday, and we are seriously thinking to include this letter of indemnity and declaration. Declaration is already part of the assessor guide, but indemnity and liability undertaking we are planning to bring into the assessor guide so that you can get it on their letterhead and sign off and attach with the report. AF shall include details such as statement about availability of required clinical, nursing, and allied healthcare staff for verification. Yes, very important to mention whether they are available in right quantity and quality. Next. Giving personal opinions? No. It has been observed that some assessors provide personal opinions that are not relevant to the assessment process. This is particularly noted during patient interactions, where assessors may share unnecessary information or ask overly personal questions. Oh, why you are here? Because I know this doctor. No, you could have gone to that hospital that is very famous. Why you are giving that advice to someone? You just ask what information you want. You want to know where the patient coming from, why coming from. Just and take the answer. You don't give your opinion. No. ये डॉक्टर तो अच्छा है लेकिन अस्पताल अच्छा नहीं है. ये अस्पताल तो अच्छा है, डॉक्टर अच्छा नहीं है. तुम इतनी दूर क्यों आए हो? ये तो बहुत महंगा अस्पताल है. ये आपका काम नहीं है. This is none of your business. Please. Also, assessors should refrain from providing consultancy advice to organizations. Some assessors we found, not many, few only, that they started advising how to do the things. Consulting, no problem, we will get it done. You can do it like this. See, when you say do it like this, means how it is things done become consulting. What is to be done is fine. Or you can share the best practices, but not tell them that how they should be doing things. Look back period for records and documentation. Now, this is again a challenge for us. Look back period. What is look back period? Look back period is the time frame from which you should start reviewing the documents and records. We say the organization should implement the requirement, the standard for at least 2 months before they apply. And sometimes we also ask in the application form the date of implementation. So please look at the application form. What is the date they have indicated for implementation? You have no right to see the documents or records prior to that implementation because they may not have it. They didn't prepare for accreditation that time. They start preparing after a specific date. So you must check all the records and documents or staff, whatever you want to check, after that date of declaration of implementation of documentation. Not prior to that. That's called look back period. Okay. So because we have seen the hospital do not have this, and the date is given 6 months, 7 months, a year back. hospital had just started 3 months ago to prepare and starting for accreditation journey. So please, this is very, very important. Next. Performance monitoring. Yes, every assessor is under performance evaluation, 360-degree evaluation, which means assessment team member gives feedback about each other. There is a feedback from accreditation committee. There is a feedback from secretariat. There is a feedback from organization. So it's all come from all the sources. When you go for assessment, 3-member team, 3 assessors give each other, and then the organization. When report comes to secretariat has the feedback, and then let's go to accreditation committee, they have the feedback. So there are different channels of feedback which we get from each assessor. So based on that feedback, we also some of you might have received communication from us, either email or whatever, that this was done by you. Please make sure that it's not done in this. Can you please start doing like this, or maybe some advice or suggestions? So we try to give feedback on a real-time basis when things are not really in order, without waiting for another round to happen and then tell you these things happening in once in a year. No. So we try to reach out to the concerned assessor immediately after the incidents happen. So we take this feedback very seriously, and at the end of the year, obviously, all the feedbacks. So if what I mentioned, we review it immediately, and if we found there is some seriousness, we immediately contact the assessor and fix the things. If it is not that serious, it's just normal, we keep for filing. But at the end of each year, we review all the feedback, all the points which for the specific assessor, and then make a final impression about is it good, bad, poor, and to be used or not to be used every year. Assessors are being issued warnings and may even be benched if multiple offences are observed. So we have also parked some of our assessors because they didn't do the job properly, despite warnings were given. So there is a mechanism. So because at the end of the day, the report, the assessment processes and the people attached to it reflects to the entire organization. Next. Assessor feedback, yes. Now, as I mentioned, 360-degree, but we observe that many assessors do not provide feedback about the assessors itself, So please, we request you to please provide your feedback whenever they're asked after conducting assessment. Now, earlier it was word file. On request, to make it faster and easy, we have converted to a Google form. So you have to just click it and fill the Google form and submit it. You need not to download, copy, save it, nothing like it. You click it, go to Google form, fill it with details required, and then submit it. Next, please. There is a policy in zero tolerance. It is available on our website, as well as it is emailed to all our assessors a couple of months back. It's not an old policy. It is an old policy. It's not a new one, which is self-explanatory in terms of what you can accept, what you cannot accept as a gift or personal favors. I'm very happy that on few occasions, couple of our assessors reach out to me personally, reporting that they were given this gift, which they didn't know about it while they were boarding the taxi or cab. They were just put into their bags or into their stuff in the car. And when they reached home, they find out this and then what to do. So we advise this is what they should do. Some assessors reported that they insisted a lot. They refused, but at the end they managed to push into their baggage. Again, the assessor reported, and then I analyzed what it is and all these things. In one occasion, I remember I say, okay, no problem, keep it, but we will inform the hospital that they should not do it again. So I call the hospital guy and says, this is what is done. Please, it is appreciated your gesture, but which is not which should be done from next time. So this is something, which we are very mindful of. So policy on zero tolerance, please go through it. And if you come across certain things, sometimes hospital pushes you. I know hospital pushes you and it become very difficult to say no. Maybe sometimes the big people politely say no, manage it accordingly. Next. General feedback related to communication, behavior, personal presentation, flexibility in logistics, time management, report writing. Assessors are expected to demonstrate professionalism in all aspects of the assessment process. Areas requiring consistent improvement include communication. It's always an improving thing, we keep improving on our communication. Behavior, how we present ourselves professionally in a dress and attire. Flexibility in logistics. No, I need only 7-star hotel. I only need a Vistara flight, only need a 10 o'clock flight. Be flexible in your logistics, adherence because someone else is paying. Obviously, you should keep the comfort in mind and don't push to the boundaries, but still be flexible. Adherence to time management and the quality of report writing. These elements reflect directly on QAI and must be maintained at the highest standard. It is often been observed that some assessors promote other ABs on social media. This is something which is very strange, and I don't like personally, to be very honest. I do not like it when our assessors promote other accreditation bodies. We have nothing to do with. Fine. You may not, but they are. Can you hear me? Can somebody confirm that you can?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. My colleague says that. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. So I think we are not saying that you can't work for more than AB. We have not prescribed that if you are a QA assessor, you cannot be the assessor for ABC accreditation body. You are free to do that. Only what we want, when you are our assessor, then you follow our rules and regulation. Number one. Number two, you are assessors and you are not assessor for some other accreditation body. You are only assessor with us, but still you promote some other accreditation body. I think that is something not acceptable. And third thing is, on social media, as you know, you have a lot of people, you have a lot of good friends. It goes viral. We have seen one advertisement, one flyer we saw is giving comparison of different accreditation bodies. And I remember one point in terms of the time duration for awarding accreditation. And QI is shown something 6 months to 12 months or 9 months. And that's something very strange. How they can talk about accreditation body without knowing, They don't know. Means I can say in my lab program, 14 days was the fastest turnaround time. And even in the hospital apply in February. A dozen of eye hospital Mumbai applied in February. Before the end of March, we were able to grant accreditation. It took 30 to 45 days. So mentioning those things and means if you want to write something, write logically, and if you want to confirm, if you want to give some data or information, it's best that you approach our office and they can tell you that okay, you can write this. So that way, please don't write of your own opinion about us, about QAI in social media. Such practice should be strictly refrained from, and strict action might be taken against, because we get feedback. It's not necessarily we look at it, we see it. There may be any people, any assessor, any board member, any technical committee. See, we have 12 technical committee, more than 12 technical committee, minimum 5 members, 60 people around the country. We have a dozen of board members, right? We have over 300 assessors. So we have a lot of people around, and we keep getting information about many things. So please, thank you. Next. Assessors are hereby requested to adopt QA accreditation of their. This is our humble submission. It's not a requirement for assessor, but it's our humble submission that if your hospital or healthcare provider is not accredited, you may like to choose QAI accreditation. You are the brand ambassador for QAI, so why not to start, charity begins at home. This is what people keep saying. So yes, many assessors have already initiated such processes. And so as you know, we provide accreditation not only to the entire organization such as hospital, but part of it, like stroke services, dialysis, IVF, BMT, CT, STC, so many things, home service. So even a hospital might be accredited by some other accreditation body, that's absolutely fine. You may like to choose some program which we offer. This is just humble submission. it's not a requirement for you to really go by it. It's just a summation that I know there are accreditation body who really make it near obligation that uh, they only take assessor. I know about JCI, I can tell you. They only take assessor from the JCI accredited organization, not beyond that. So I think there are bodies would be practicing it. Maybe start practicing in time to come. But nonetheless, that's fine. Next, please.
So we're on with the agenda today. So it's just a small video to show our appreciation to our assessors. And then we'll have the point of discussion by AC.
Yeah, so we have the most important agenda from AC. Yeah, I thought you saying it is done. These are some of the glimpses. We also encourage you all to click the pictures and not something personal information or personal things, just professional group photographs of the organization staff. It's always good encouragement to us and to them as a symbol of their involvement and participation. You see how cheerful these people are in the pictures, and I could see a couple of familiar faces. So we encourage you to take a group photograph either after the opening meeting or before the closing meeting, or after, whatever way you can discuss this with the head of the institution, and if they agree, you can seek if they agree, fine, and then take a good picture and send to my people. We keep archiving those things, and we can look at it. Is it done, Chandani?
Not yet, sir.
Oh, it's not moving. So these are various occasions, celebrations during World Accreditation Day, Patient Safety Day, many other during assessments. This is the picture of our ISQA evaluation, the ISQA surveyors. We celebrated 200 accreditation during that time in their presence after the closing meeting. Now, one of the most important agenda of this conclave is feedback from the members of our accreditation committee. Chairman Dr. Kakkal could not join, but former chairman and current member of accreditation committee, Dr. Rakesh Verma is here, and I see one of our senior member, Dr. Parvez, and who is the chair of our technical committee for hospital is also here. These two, at least I could see when they were entering. But there will be a couple of others. I'm sorry if Sharad, I can see Sharad Verma as well. Clive is there. Dr. Clive is there from Middle East. He is the man driving everything there. And and many more. So now over to you, Dr. Rakesh. Thank you very much.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I hope we had a session which shed light on many things that the QAI does, and also many things that we handle in the accreditation committee. So we have with us Dr. Clive, Dr. Sharad, and Dr. Parvez. Dr. Parvez, I can't see you, but see some of the important points that are necessary for QAI to take a decision, for accreditation committee to make a recommendation towards that decision, have already been covered. So you had the glimpse of what goes on after you have finished your assessment. What I'll do is I'll request Dr. Clive and Dr. Sharad and then Dr. Parvez to add their points if there's something, and then I will I'll say a few things which I have made a note of while we evaluate your reports in the accreditation committee. So Dr. Clive, please.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर राकेश. अरे राणा सर, आप मेरे को कह रहे हो मैं मिडिल ईस्ट से ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ, यहाँ से तो सिर्फ आसमान में ड्राइव हो रहे हैं चीज़ें. एनीवे, गुड आफ्टरनून टू एवरीवन. I think it was a very enlightening 1 hour, but I have a few points, and my fellow AC and TC committee members will agree with me. Now, first of all, I want to ask a question to all of you, and I don't want you to answer. Don't put the on audio and message. When you go for a QAI assessment, whom do you represent? And you have only 4 choices. You represent yourself, A. You represent QAI, B. You represent none of the above, C. This is a question I just thought of because abhi the last 1 hour there was so much, आप खुद का basic documentation, PAN card number and naam and all नहीं भर पा रहे हैं. But when we go on an assessment, we are citing the organization for the same things. कि तुम्हारा assessment complete नहीं है, तुम्हारा फलाना complete नहीं है. So it's good. A lot of people are saying we represent QAI. Everyone is going to say good things today. I am playing devil's advocate. Now, Rakesh sir knows me. I have to throw the cat among the pigeons. We all want to represent QAI, but every time, and I am being a little more on the other side because, every time we go to an organization and we don't cite what we want to cite or what we need to cite, we are not, हम अपना नाम खराब नहीं कर रहे हैं, हम QAI का नाम खराब करते हैं. Now, so many times we spoken about, subjective observations. There was a reason why, when the earlier committees met, they had, criteria A, B, C, D all mentioned separately. हमारे पास जब finding आता है accreditation committee में, we get mixed vegetable. One finding and then it says A, B, C, D. And that is also okay. Of late, what has happened? Rakesh sir, I'm just giving our experience. Of late what has happened कि है ना, फाइंडिंग पता नहीं किधर का है, टोक्यो का है, क्राइटेरिया लंदन का लगा रखा है, एंड पोर क्यूएआई ऑफिस इज ट्राइंग टू पुट सम कि है ना ये इधर का नहीं हो सकता, उधर का हो सकता है. नाउ टेल मी वन थिंग, व्हेन एन एसेसर गोज, ओनली द एसेसर नोज व्हाट दे हैव सीन. So that is why when we keep saying please make it objective, that is the reason. The other thing we have seen is, see, Dr. Rana also said, and we all agree, our job is not to be seeing that everyone does best practices. But a lot of times what happens, people, they come back, forget ये standard मेल नहीं खा रहा criteria से, वो तो हम फिर भी digest कर लेंगे. कभी कभी तो ऐसे recommendation मारे जाते हैं कि हमें बदहजमी हो जाती है टाइप का. And they write, we want you to do this best practice. Our job is not that. As assessors, I think that is what we all need to know. Our job is not that. Why I'm telling you this, because abhi bhi I believe after this conclave, I'm hopeful, I'm an optimist. So I say a lot will change. But the pessimist in me tells me some things will not change. And I'll give you an example. Last conclave, we only talked about one thing, training. And QAI ke 4 requirement after the training. We have Dr. Sharad here, we have Dr. Parvez here, Dr. Rakesh here. We can tell you one thing, that was the easiest low-hanging fruit. We told all assessors कि ना जब भी आप कुछ ट्रेनिंग का मांगो, क्लोज करने से पहले 4 चीजें देखनी होती है. All my fellow assessment, AC committee members will still vouch. आज भी हर रिपोर्ट में 2 ऐसे आ जाते हैं कि वो एक्सेप्ट हो गए और AC committee कह रहा है कि all 4 requirements not met. So that is the whole reason, and no one is supposed to know everything. We have a mechanism of escalation. I think this is what I would like. My last, takeaway for all of you is, we don't expect everyone to know everything. We don't want. वो तो problem हो जाएगा, है ना? But what we say is, you have a team, you have a team leader. If you have a doubt, go to your team leader. We don't expect the team leader to know everything. हमारे कितने बहस होते हैं, पूछिए, है ना, एक AC meetings में. We don't expect the team leader to know everything. If you have a doubt, go to the QAI office because they connect with us, they contact with us. But once you write something which is not matching the standard, वो छवि QAI का खराब होता है, so that is what I want to leave. This is my part, I just want you to understand. Please keep the finding very objective to what you're seeing. Don't put a wish list of, my wish list best practices and all, and when you close it, because neither the AC committee nor the QAI knows आपने वहां देखा क्या था. But when you close it and then QA accreditation committee says ये close ही नहीं हुआ है, then there is a problem. So that is why we said we need to highlight these facts in the assessor conclave. And good luck to all of you going forward. This was the few things I wanted to just see.
Thank you, Dr. Clive. Dr. Sharad, may I request you to shed
Yes,
light?
sure. Sir, Dr. Rana sir has already covered most of the things. And but one thing is very difficult for the secretariat and for the AC members also. That is about the mixing of the standards and putting the wrong standards and criteria. So as of now, with the present formats of our AF1 to 5, AF3, we are writing all the NCs. So if we can replace our AF3 with the format of our action plan, along with addition of the one column of standard and criteria, and let the assessor at the time of assessment writes the criteria and standard in the action plan itself, and that action plan apart is signed by the hospital representative and the assessor. It is submitted to the secretariat, and then the closure is done. Then we can significantly reduce this mixing of standards of different accreditation programs. And naturally, the wrong standard quoting will also be reduced if we do that. And the assessors, they should not go beyond what is written in the standard accreditation. So that was one important point I wanted to add from my side.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
I would
Sharad.
like
Thank
to
you very
seek
much.
your opinion on this particular point, sir, because you are chairing AC today.
No, I will add to that. Good. It's a valid point actually, because this is where we get stuck most of the time. Dr. Parvez is also here, I guess. I am trying to.
Yes. Good evening, all. I am here.
So Dr.
Yes.
Parvez is he's driving, and I hope you're not talking while driving. Drive safe.
Yes.
So Dr. Parvez is our chair of the technical committee for hospital standards. Huge experience. I'll request him to add his observations.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh, and I welcome you all, and thank you to all for attending this meeting or conclave. This was very, very important for us, and many times we were talking that we should give our feedback as a AC committee member to all our esteemed assessor. So although a lot of things has been already said by my team member, so further that I only want to say that please don't hesitate when you go for the assessment. Take a printout and keep the hard copy with you, because so many of standards are there. Many times we are facing the problem.
Hospital.
Hello.
No, so it's all right. Dr. Parvez, please continue.
Right. So many times we are facing the problem, as earlier told, that the mismatch between the written NCs. So sometime it has been noticed that you have gone for the healthcare full standards accreditation, and you have written the SHCO standards. So please don't hesitate to take a printout of the standards and going through that by chapter wise or standard wise, because many times we face the mismatch. And again, when you are writing the NC, please correlate your written NC that is aligning with the standard or criteria, because many times we face that you have written something else which is not belonging to that particular criteria. The same thing happened when you accept the NC closure. So already my colleague Dr. Clive has mentioned that regarding that training. So you always accept the training that they have given the photograph, they have given the content, they have taken the post test and all this thing. So we have already written a few guidelines which is very much available on the website. Kindly take a reference of those guidelines whenever there is a NC related to those guidelines. And last point is that from my side, never put NC again upon NC. For example, you have written NC that prescription is not legible, but again you are finding that which evidence they have submitted that pain scoring is not done. So that not acceptable. NC के ऊपर NC नहीं आनी है. So whatever NC you have asked, only ask for that closure. And kindly, before submitting or before sending your report to the QI, kindly evaluate it, validate it, ask your colleague to verify it that your NC is corresponding with the particular standard or criteria or not. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Parvez. So, our chair, Dr. Kakkal, could not join today. He's traveling, so he is not in the meeting today. Okay, so we have to understand as a assessor, we have to understand. I personally and the team members in the accreditation committee have to understand. We have one role to perform. As accreditation committee, our job is to ensure that the assessment has been done correctly, and we are able to make a recommendation to the board whether to grant or not to grant the accreditation. The job of the assessment team is to observe and match the observation with the accreditation standards and criteria. Now, there's one golden rule that exists how to write an NC. I have personally covered this, and I ensure that I cover this in every assessor's training program that QAI has. Let me repeat it today. So every non-conformance that is to be written must have three very clear requirements. It should meet three clear requirements. That what is the observation you have seen? So in one of the example that Dr. Rana was talking in the presentation few minutes back, the observation is that the ground floor is not clean or ground floor looks unhygienic. I mean, this observation makes no sense. Ground floor, which area, where, whether outside the hospital, in the OPD, in the parking, where. Then, even more important than the observation is to find the attribution. This observation fits in which standard and which criteria. If we cannot find a standard and a criteria for the observation that I have made, that is not an NC because there is no criteria for it. It is not supposed to be evaluated if that observation doesn't fit in any of the standard or the criteria. So attribution is the second part. So we make an observation, we check that observation as to which standard and which criteria it fits in, and then we give an explanation. Then my observation means what? So if I am saying that the organization has not carried out credentialing and privileging for its consultants, then this is an observation. Then we find which HRM criteria and the standard it fits in. And then we say that I have seen this credentialing and privileging not being done in the personal files of ABC. So that is what completes the non-conformance. But if we don't do it, then we are guessing. And the most unfortunate part with the accreditation committee is that we have not been to the hospital. You are the only person who has been to the hospital. And when you close an NC without giving due importance or without ensuring connection with the standard and the criteria, it makes the entire exercise actually a farce. I mean, it looks as if we are not diligent enough. So this is it's an important part. We play our role in our respective positions or the role that is given to us. So let's ensure that we meet our requirement. The very idea of having this layered arrangement, that there is an assessor, there is a lead assessor, and then there is an accreditation committee, and then there is a board. So this layered arrangement is to ensure that eventually when the decision is made, it includes all aspects of the assessment and it meets the requirement of accreditation. So this is all. Many of you actually do an excellent job. I mean, I have, and we also get to see every accreditation assessment that comes to QAI. A lot of observations are actually on the dot, well written, well qualified with the examples or whatever is required to explain that non-conformance. But many times we are not able to do it correctly. So one ground rule is that please ensure that the standard that you are referring to is always the first thing that you check. When the cases of assessment come to the accreditation committee, our first question is which standard, under which standard this particular assessment has been done. Because if we miss that, then I mean the step one is wrong and everything else thereafter is going to be wrong. So that is the one. And one more very simple thing, and it is, I'm sure all of us are probably in the same boat. You could also be someday in the accreditation committee and I'll be out of it on your position. Writing an observation which makes sense. A lot of times we have trouble understanding English. And this is something that we need to be very careful. One simple way of doing it is that once we write our observation or the NC, we read it once more, give it to your team members to read. It's a very good practice. Many of us, in fact, I can vouch for all the accreditation committee members. We have done it all our life. You write an observation, give it to your team members to read. The team members looks at grammar, looks at the content, looks at logic, looks at everything, and then it turns out to be a good report. So that is about all. Today, as an accreditation committee, our role was to share with you the difficulties that we face when trying to figure out a recommendation for the hospital or the organization that has been assessed by the assessment team. I hope we have been able to, to shed light on important parts. All of you in individual personal capacities and otherwise, I mean, we all know each other in many different, through many different connections. You're welcome to seek questions, ask questions, sometimes clarify. We also learn in the bargain. And I think that will take us, forward in a very good way. Thank you very much. And I must appreciate that a lot of assessors actually have delivered reports which delighted us to no end. Thank you very much. Dr. Rana, your take.
Thank you, Dr. Rakesh, Dr. Clive, Parvez, Dr. Sharad. Thank you, everyone. I think this is one of the most important thing is that the information coming to accreditation committee to make decision about accreditation. उसके ऊपर तो कुछ भी नहीं है. All these approval. So if information is crisp, I wondered sometime where I had some doubt कि pass भी होगा कि नहीं होगा, and that was true. I said how, because sir everything was very clear. Whether there were non-conformity or not, but everything was very clear. The NCs were there. They were very satisfactorily addressed, closed to that. So it took very quick time for the committee to run through and we have, like Rakesh mentioned, we have layers of to make it smoother. So thank you every one of you for sharing your views as an AC member. And as you know, we keep organizing some awareness programs around different occasions. Now, if you know, the 9th June is celebrated as World Standards Day, World Accreditation Day. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. World Accreditation Day or World Standards Day?
The World Accreditation Day.
World Accreditation Day. Good, thank you. Why it is celebrated? Actually, it was never in healthcare. It was never in healthcare. It was just by in conformity assessment bodies, which is actually use ISO standards. So ILAC, which is International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation, was the organization in collaboration with International Accreditation Federation, IAF. These were the two organizations clubbed together, joined together hands, and then started this 9th June World Accreditation Day. So I was knowing it because I worked in NABL before and then continued lab accreditation in NABH as well, and obviously here. So in 22, I remember well in 2016 or 17, for the first time in India, we celebrated World Accreditation in healthcare. And since then, it's coming up every year. This year also, we are celebrating World Accreditation Day in our healthcare vertical, where Chandni and Ashwarya and colleagues have prepared exciting things. And we request you all to join. And Chandni will put the link for joining registration for this event on 9th June, 2:30 to 3:30, 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. coming June, 9th June, for your participation. And there are certain I think Chandni, you can explain better than me. And on other side of our lab program, they're also celebrating from 3:30 to 4:30 or 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, having a lot of poster competition, quiz competition, and so thing. So it's trying to make it an interesting exercise rather than just very boring and accreditation as it is, So just get involved, and I would hand over to Chandni for her to say. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Chandni.
Thank you so much, sir. So on World Accreditation Day, QAI-CAHSC is doing 3 competitions. One is a poster competition, a reel competition, along with one photography competition. So the organizations, whether they're accredited or not, they are encouraged to apply. Secondly, there would be a panel discussion by technical committee members, accreditation committee members, assessors, as well as the organizations who are accredited. So it would be a good discussion on how accreditation matters and all the parts of the accreditation, be it be pre-hospital, post-hospital, or hospital care. Every organization who are eligible can apply.
What?
Yeah, so I have shared the link in the chat box. I would request the interested ones to please apply on the same. Thank you so much.
That's great. Thank you, Chandni. So I just mentioned the World Standard Day. Every 14th of October every year, it is celebrated as World Standards Day. It's to recognize the efforts of international experts coming together and develop ISO standards, which are global standards. So the 14th October is World Standard Day, 9th June is World Accreditation Day, and 17th September is International or Global Patient Safety Day. So I think a couple of days we try to celebrate, as Chandni mentioned. Please participate, encourage your people from your hospital, your organization, and your colleagues to take part in those exciting activities. Anything else, Chandni?
So we are done with the agenda.
So done with, so you need to click pictures.
Yes, sir. So I
So may I
request
request
all
everyone to please switch on your cameras so that she can click. I think you have to take 3-4 shots. Good to see a couple of familiar faces. Jatin, I can see. Yeah, good to see you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
Chandni,
thank you so much, everyone.
Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you, Chandni, and thank you each one of you for joining this 4th Assessor Conclave, which has been very interesting, and this is where we can connect with each other, and I think as we always say, the assessors are our ambassadors. They are our ambassador in the field. What they see, we see. What they listen, we listen. What they say, we say. So it's very important that you make QAI a brand in time to come, which is more respectable and much respectable from now onwards. So thank you, each one of you. With this, we close this event today, and look forward to meeting you, seeing you, talking to you in time to come. Have a good evening, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.